Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the DigiPen Institute of Technology Singapore Virtual Preview Day. My name is Caroline, and I'm from the Admissions Office. I wish to inform you that this session will be recorded and the video will be uploaded onto the DigiPen Singapore website in March. This morning, our president and founder of DigiPen, Mr. Claude Comair, will give a speech. This will be followed by a Q&A session with our faculty panel. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our president and founder of DigiPen, Mr. Claude Comair.
Thank you, Caroline. Good morning, everyone. I am currently in the US, and usually such an event that we host at DigiPen Singapore, I would be there normally. And unfortunately this year, due to the circumstance and due to the COVID situation, travel was not possible. However, thanks to the technology available today, we are able to still meet and convey ideas. And what is important today is not just me being in front of you in person or not, is that we are together and that we are able to convey what needs to be conveyed in such a day. You have to understand that these types of events that DigiPen hosts are not promotional events. These events are very important for us and for you in order to make a good choice. A good university is only as good as the product of its graduates and the graduation. So if at the end of the day we graduate people that are ignorant and cannot work and cannot join the workforce, DigiPen will cease to exist. And therefore, it is very important, it is extremely important for us to be able to convey to you exactly who we are and how do we do things in order for you, if you join DigiPen, you do this based on knowledge and based on facts and not based on some slogans. It is very important for you to understand that DigiPen is a very good school, and despite that, it may not be a good school for you, and that is very important to understand. It is very often the case where people are pushed towards certain universities by parents or friends or advertisements. And this needs to be avoided here. You should not come to DigiPen just because somebody told you to go there. You should come to DigiPen because it is a good option for you, and it is a place that gives you a solution for your problem, which is getting prepared for the real world. Is that place going to prepare me to join the real world and succeed? If the answer is yes, then you are very welcome to join DigiPen, and together we will do the journey and we will go forward and we will make sure that you are very well educated and you will graduate and you will have a very, big chance to succeed in life. We provide at DigiPen an environment that is similar to the real world. And that makes DigiPen very difficult. So DigiPen 1 is a good school, but is it for me? That is the first question. Second, DigiPen's curriculum and education is usually very difficult. So therefore, am I ready for it? That's the second question you need to answer yourself. Am I ready to go there? These people at DigiPen, you should say to yourself, are there to show me what needs to be done in order for me to succeed in the real world. Therefore, it's going to be a journey together. It's going to be a time that I am going to actually dedicate together with these people at DigiPen, so they will have time to teach me the right things in order for me to succeed. So you come to us, We hold you by the hand and we would walk together hand in hand, and we would make sure that you understand exactly what needs to be understood in order to succeed in the real world. So, in a sense, it's going to be your last gas stop before you drive into the desert. So, we cannot actually leave you at graduation from DigiPen not knowing. And that is going to be the difficult part for you to understand at the beginning when you come from normal schools or normal high school and you did not go through a system like DigiPen. The system at DigiPen is ruthless when it comes to you slacking. You actually slack for 2, 3 weeks, and you might as well forfeit your education at DigiPen. You might as well leave because you will not pass the year. At DigiPen, we will not actually accept any excuses for not doing your work. We will treat you exactly like the real world. And it is imperative for you to understand that. It is very important for you to understand this fact. So at DigiPen, when you enter DigiPen, is first day on the job. It is the first day that you will start your real life experience and your real job. That's your first day. Together, you will make the mistakes in front of us. We will hold you. We will support you. We will help you. We will walk together. And slowly, slowly, we let go of you and you will start flying. Now, the air, the smell of it, the air pressure, the air temperature, everything within DigiPen feels and tastes and acts and reacts like the real world. You see, and that makes DigiPen a little bit difficult. For those who are coming to university, sometimes to have fun or to have, a college experience life, well, DigiPen is not it. We are on the job to make you, the people of the future. Those people who will graduate and succeed. Because you have to imagine that between the inner world of a school and the outside world, outside the school, there is this invisible membrane, like a magical wall, that is protecting you from the real world. For example, in the real world, you do not do your work, you get sued. You take money from somebody to do a job and you do not do it, people will sue you. Will take you to court because you did not do your work. Well, when you are in a school, you don't get sued if you don't do your homework. You go back for something and maybe the teacher will allow you to do your work over or give you some penalty for being late or something like that, but you don't get sued. You don't go to jail for not doing your work. Well, at DigiPen, obviously, we don't put you in jail, but we will not treat you differently than the real world. Because this passage from the inner world to the outside world is extremely, extremely there. It is there. You cannot ignore it. And if the pressure inside the school is different from the pressure outside the school, if the weather inside the school is different from the weather outside the school, you would be creating a microclimate inside the school that is protecting you, that is sheltering you. And when you actually come to cross this invisible wall, this invisible barrier, when you come to cross it, you're going to get shocked. Imagine a plane flying in some calm weather, and all of a sudden it encounters a hurricane as it crosses this zone. It's going to actually have a very hard time here and turbulent times. So therefore, for you not to have that shock, we actually make sure that the inner zone of the school is equal to the outside zone outside the school. So when you leave the school, you feel no difference. You will be actually very well prepared, and you will be like a fish in its own aquarium. Nothing has changed. Is yet another day of my life, and I'm going about doing my business. Before I was doing it for Mr. Comair, now I'm doing it for another person. For yourself, maybe. Maybe you want to create a company. And so many companies have been created out of DigiPen, hundreds of them, which actually granted us the privilege to be invited to your country. We were invited to beautiful Singapore. We did not go and decided one day, oh, we need to expand to Singapore, and there are some good money to be made in Singapore. It wasn't the case. We were invited to your beautiful island. We were invited to come and be part of a program to help create an industry. And we did our job, and we did such a good job that we are still there. Otherwise, we would have been asked to leave. So the reason we are in Singapore is to provide you with this education that we offer. And we are actually very happy to have created a Singapore organization. You see, the Singapore campus is for Singapore, is a Singapore ownership, and we are very proud of it. And it's a Singapore organization. It is not a foreign school that is implemented in Singapore, some branch campus over there that is insignificant. As a matter of fact, the work that is coming from Singapore, our campus, is equal, if not better, than the work that is done in the United States. And our students are our students everywhere, and they all actually can interact with each other, and they all actually can create friendships and relationships and work relationships that will remain there after graduation and so on. So the fact that we are in Singapore, first of all, makes us very happy and makes us very proud. And you'll be interacting with an organization that is purely Singaporean. And one day, as an anecdote, there was a father who came to me, and I was there. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure if Caroline remembers that day, but she asked me to meet with the person because this parent was asking me to meet, and I was happened to be visiting, and I met with the person, and he was pretty upset, and he told me, "But Mr. Comair, I thought that DigiPen was an American university," and I said, "Yes, it is in America." He said, "Yes, but I mean, my son is being taught by Singaporean teachers." I said, "Yes, what is the problem?" He said, "Well, I thought that by sending my kid to an American school, he will be taught by American professors. That's why, we think, we wanted to send our kid to an American university." And I said, "Are you American?" And he said, "No." I said, "Is your son American?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, I do not see why you're sending your son to a university, sir." And he looked at me, he said, with a question in his face and on his face, and saying, well, basically, why are you saying so? And I said, "But why should he go to a university? He's not American. According to you, only American people are good. You want American teachers because you think they will teach better than Singaporean teachers. So therefore, if your son is not American, why are you teaching that kid? He will never become American. He will never be as good as Americans, and he will never succeed. So therefore, if I were you, I would focus on sending him to to do some carpentry or, something else." And the guy was looking at me, thinking that I'm joking. I said, "No, I'm not joking." If you think that only good people are Americans, well, you have an option, send your kid to America. We have a school over there, and to tell you the truth, um, over there too, we're not Americans. Most of us are not Americans. I'm not American. So therefore, but you will be in America if that makes you happy. Here, we have the best teachers. Here in Singapore, we have teachers that are equal, and we do not make a difference between them or Americans, or if they are, from any background or religion or shape or face or color or whatever. So if you don't believe in yourself that you will be great because you're not American, then you shouldn't be wasting your time to going to a university or sending your son to a university. Well, we are very proud to be Singaporeans, and I'm very proud of every single professor that is from Singapore. And we are not a foreign university in Singapore. We are a Singaporean university in Singapore. And we are called DigiPen, like the one in the United States. It is true that we migrated a lot of know-how, but you have to be assured that the school in Singapore is sending us know-how to us too. It's a symbiotic relationship, and it's a growing relationship of mutual research and development and collaboration. And there is no difference. You can come to the United States and study, or you can stay in Singapore and study. You can leave on the weekend your class and join on Monday in the United States the same class. You will find that you are in the same point. You did not miss, or you're not more advanced. And you can spend a month in the United States taking the same class, and then you can go back to Singapore and continue the class, and you would not find any difference. That is DigiPen. It is synchronized, and it is the same everywhere. And we do not live in Singapore or in Korea or in Spain or in wherever we have a campus. We live in the world of DigiPen. This is our world. This is who we are. And we actually believe in ourselves. So therefore, you need to understand if you want to be part of such a school. Right? Therefore, today is not a promotional day. It's not an advertising day. It's a day when we meet and you understand who we are. We are not arrogant. As a matter of fact, we love our students. And our students are the defenders of DigiPen. You want really to be really kicked out of DigiPen? Visit DigiPen, stand up in the middle of the hallway and say that DigiPen is a bad place, and you will see who will kick you out. It's not a teacher. It is not an administrative person. It is probably our students that will take you and kick you out, and if they don't give you a beating as well. Right? This is DigiPen. And you have to understand, and you have seen it from some of the interviews with our graduates, and they would tell you that the student body is your greatest teacher. That is the secret of DigiPen. DigiPen is a place of apprenticeship. You come, you beat the iron until you make it in the shape that you want. And you have to beat it hard, and you have to keep beating it until it actually complies. You have to heat it, you beat it, it complies at the end of the day. We sharpen you exactly like we sharpen knives. We sharpen your knowledge, we make you cutting edge. But it is not only us that is teaching you, it is your fellow companion and student. When you are in a school where you have 1,000+ students that are doing exactly topics and studying topics exactly like the ones you want to do, and they are ahead of you. They are taught and they are bred to share and help. So the profile of a student at DigiPen is usually a nice person, a wonderful person, a knowledgeable person who is willing to share and not actually keep secrets to themselves. And I mean secrets about knowledge, not about personal issues. So therefore, the same way our teachers accepted to share with you their knowledge, that the student, you as a student, will have to share your knowledge with other students. So all of us can go forward and all of us can succeed. So if you are one of these people, DigiPen will be a good place for you. You see? And that is what is important. Is DigiPen a good school for me? Because is DigiPen a good school? Obviously it is. I don't need to tell you that. Countries are inviting us to go and set foot in their countries, in their places. Trust me, we did not actually come to Singapore invading Singapore ourselves. We were invited. Why? Because we're good. We're one of the best. There is a beautiful study by Georgetown University which ranked return on investment of your education of 4,500 universities in the United States. So over 40 years, what would be the value of your education? Did you lose your money and you didn't utilize your education? Or the education was useful and it actually allowed you to go forward in life and succeed? That is the question of this study. And they ranked the schools from first to number 4,500, the last. DigiPen came out number 35 in the study. I have the study here, and I will ask Caroline to actually make it available for you. Here, I can share it for you in a split moment. I have it here just for you to see where it is. Share screen here. I'll share my board, and this is Georgetown. Here you go. That is the study. You type DigiPen here. I don't want to type other schools, so we're not here to compare other schools. And we are number 35, if you can see, after 40 years investment. And I have a site that you can go to. Let me go to that site. Here you go. So let's go to the site itself. That's the ranking return on investment, ROI, of 4,500 US colleges and university. That's a live site. You can visit it yourself. You read the criteria of what they did. What does it mean, return on investment? And then you go here, and these are the thousands of universities in the US. You can type any school you like. This is DigiPen, right? And this is our ranking here. I will actually make it happen. Over 40 years, we are number 35. Your tuition will be worth as if you have invested and returned $1.6 million US dollars. So are we a good school? Yes, we don't need to prove it. This is not the point. This is not the point today to prove to you if we are a good school. We wouldn't be in Singapore otherwise, right? Remember, invited. So the question is, are we a good school for you? This is what's important, and this is what you need to decide. So this is what you need to come back and bug this staff that is in front of you here today. You need to bug them. You need to ask them the question. You need to ask them, is it a good school for me? And they will ask the question. We don't know you, so it's not like a defiance. Is it a good school for me? Tell me. No. Come, get to know us, ask us the question, see for yourself if it's a good school. Come, shadow if necessary, and if they don't allow you to shadow, tell them Mr. Comair said I can shadow. right? You can come to the school, sit in the classroom, attend the class. Well, obviously there are rules today about COVID and I don't know, but usually you come and you say, I would like to attend the class. You can sit down, you can talk to other students, and you can talk to teachers. You can correspond with the teacher. It should be made clear to yourself that this is a good place for me, right? That is the most important thing for us too, right? Because if we actually lose half of the people along the way because we actually lured the wrong people in because of some kind of commercialism and sloganism and advertising campaigns and whatnot, then at the end of the day, we cannot graduate you. Anyway, there will be no exception at DigiPen. You cannot graduate from DigiPen if you did not earn, the merits, period. No matter how much you cry, no matter how much you beg, no matter how much you want to sue us if you like, I would not give you a degree if you don't have the grades. Because our existence depends from the fact that we do not actually give this grade and this degree, freely like that without merit. We will die. We will cease to exist. We'll be the laughter of the industry. We will be the joke of the industry. So our existence depends from it. Your investment is your time and the money you pay, which is very little because it's subsidized. Right? But your time, which is very valuable, but our investments, 33 years of slaving to make sure that this organization is the best. This is Mr. Gali here. I see Mr. Gali, lift up your head so they can see who you are. That's Mr. Gali. We didn't see your hand because it's too close to the camera. Bring it a little bit back. Yeah, that's Mr. Gali. Mr. Gali has been, he is the head, one of the leaders of the college, and he has been at DigiPen since 1994, I think. Am I right? Well, yeah. I remember the day he came in and he was asking for a job, and I said, well, that guy I cannot lose. I cannot lose. I want him. I don't care what's going to happen, but I'm not going to actually lose him. So I said, listen, let's start working together. We'll eat together. We'll do everything. I want you here, right, with me. The guy has knowledge. I needed it. Sorry, Prasanna, but I needed you. If you didn't know that, you should know it by now, right? How many years will have it been? I don't know. And to tell you the truth, I couldn't bear eating hot foods. I would eat a little bit of 2 drops of cayenne, and I would turn red. I will have hives, and I will almost die. After a year of eating together and having meetings and going out and in Vancouver, British Columbia, I was downing, 5-star Indian restaurant food, 5-star Indian food, and he was eating burgers. He wasn't eating burgers when I met him. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you all of this, it took time to create DigiPen. It took time and effort. It took an enormous amount of effort to create it, a gigantic effort to create the school. And now you have it at your disposal. And it is almost free of charge. So what excuse do you have not to succeed if you come in? None. So you will stay with us from 8 in the morning till midnight every day. And I remember when we opened in 2008 and we started the school, parents would call us and say, but what happened to our kids? Where are they? Say, yeah, but they're at school. But what do you mean they're at school? It's 11 at night. So yeah, they're at school. Well, what are they doing at school? They're doing their work. Like in the real world, you don't go when you're working on a game. You don't just take off. It's work all the time. Do you know why? Because it's joy and passion, and we love it. And DigiPen, it is true that we start in the morning around 8 and we close at midnight, I think, not in the COVID times, but normally, right? And people would tell me, I mean, how do they survive, these kids? Well, trust me, we cannot close every night. We have to actually send the dogs to kick everybody out. Everybody wants to sleep over there. They make it home. They make it part of themselves, and they learn. They learn by osmosis. They learn by contact. They learn by looking at our professors working together with them, looking at the students working together with them. And that's how you learn. Apprenticeship. You know, you want to become the best Kung Fu master. You don't sit in Marina Square or I don't know what. You would pack and you would go to the highest mountain in Tibet and you join a monastery over there. And this is where you learn martial art. And some other things as well, wisdom and whatever, I don't know. So, you want to learn what we teach? Join this shrine. That's how it is. No difference. There is no magic and there is no magical answer. People ask me, what is the secret of DigiPen's success? Well, DigiPen's success is dedication, is passion, is love, is affection, is attention to our students. Students who love their work. Are you passionate to join DigiPen? If you're not, don't join. Please, if you are like nothing moves you, don't come. If you are one of these kinds that if I poke a needle into your hand and you don't feel a thing, you're definitely not a DigiPen material. You need to be passionate, emotional. You need to be exuberant. You need to be wanting to create and wanting to learn and wanting to actually understand all of this. Then join DigiPen. We are the good school for you then. Only then we are a good school. And that's what makes us good. This philosophy, an unwavering philosophy, unwavering. I am a very strict guy on myself and on the people that actually are with me. I'm very kind, very gentle, accepting people making mistakes and learning from them and going forward. But one thing I cannot accept is people who are indifferent, sitting there and not dying because death is not there, but they're not living. They're just inert. No emotions, no passion, no nothing. So if you are one of those, don't come to DigiPen, please. Don't waste your time with us. I go even to be arrogant. I don't want you there. But if you want to learn, if you are passionate about this, that's your love, that's what you want to be, well, come with me and we'll teach you. I will teach you. I am sure that you will succeed if you are one of those passionate and willing to learn and understanding that nothing is easy in life that is worthwhile obtaining. How do you obtain a diamond? You find it on the street? Or maybe once in a beautiful moon, once in a blue moon, you can find maybe a diamond on the street. Somebody dropped it by mistake or something. Diamonds, you have to dig them, you have to mine them, and you have to take tons of earth in order to find one little diamond. And diamonds don't come the size of an elephant. Anything that is worthwhile in life is going to be difficult. But if you have the passion for it, and if you have the will and wanting to learn, then living at DigiPen, it will be easy. It will be a joy. It will be fantastic. You will develop the best of habits and the best of, of, of friends and the best of support. And you will be catapulted in the world, and you will be an ambassador. You will go, live long, become successful, and come back and join us so we can prepare the new and young generations like we decided to share with you. One day you will come and you will become one of us, and you will help us propagate this dream again, because every kid deserves to come to DigiPen. And DigiPen, if didn't exist, we should invent it. And schools like DigiPen are the schools that make a difference in the world. They're not your school where you go over there and you went to school like if you did go or didn't go, it didn't make a difference to you. No, you don't come to DigiPen and feel nothing. You do not pass through DigiPen and it doesn't mark you for life. You'll be walking and saying to people, I am a DigiPen grad. I am a dragon. And you will encounter other DigiPen. And I don't know, you will do this funny handshake and you will know this is a brother of arms. I can trust this person. I know he went through Prasanna. You know, when people come to DigiPen to interview you for a job, most likely it will be a DigiPen graduate coming back to interview from a company. And the first thing they will ask you, if you are in the RTIS program, they will ask you, oh, CS 200, what was your grade? Do you know why? Because CS 200 was taught by Prasanna. Was it CS 200 or 220 or something? Yeah. You see? And they will know that you know. And they will smile and they will take you with them. And that is the secret of success, is when a school is visited by recruiters that graduated from that school. And they know everything about this school. And one day they will come back and they will teach. We have scores of teachers that were our students. And they went and they did well. They worked at Microsoft, worked at wherever they did work, and they came back and they actually are teaching today. Like myself, I worked at Nintendo. I am the co-founder of Nintendo Software Technology. Prasanna was one of the vice president at Nintendo, vice president of engineering. And we are back to teaching generations of kids what we learned in life. So if you succeed and you don't come back to teach, you just wasted your life, because you don't want to actually end up dying with all this knowledge in your brain, dead, useless, and you didn't share it with anybody. So that is the life that I see a DigiPen graduates would have. They would come as a grasshopper, they would learn, they will fly, they will go far, they would learn, they will advance themselves, they will take care of their families. And when they reach a level of Zen and understanding and wisdom, they will come back and teach us and tell us what was the experience at large, how did they survive, and share it with young people. And here goes, the wheel is turning and turning over and over, and life is going forward. And DigiPen is helping kids all over the world. That is my dream that I share with you. And this dream, happily for me, became a reality. And we are now in our 33rd year of this dream. And we are actually more and more being invited every year. DigiPen is growing in one country or another making more DigiPen friends and more DigiPen people and more DigiPen students useful and happy. Well, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity and this honor to visit you today in your homes, because usually you would come to DigiPen and we will be at DigiPen meeting in one of the boardrooms or amphitheaters. Today, despite the sadness of the situation that is happening to the world, I feel privileged that, many of you allowed me to come to your homes through this technology and talk to you. Usually, if you have played Donkey Kong game, maybe Mario versus Donkey Kong, if you ever played one of the games that I made, you allowed me already into your homes and you played against me. Because when we make a game and we publish a game and people are playing this game, they usually are playing against the people who programmed it, not against the computer or the console. The console is just a box, useless box, right? It is the soul of the console which represent the work of the people who actually programmed this game and implemented it, whether they are artists or scientists or musicians or whomever. This group of people that collaborated together and put the game together. And this is what you will be working at the DigiPen, as a group of people all the time, collaborating together, putting a game, and people are going to play it, and they're going to play against you, and you will be visiting them in their homes at odd hours of the day or night, and you would feel the privilege of being a game maker. And that's what I was before, a privileged person, which I had the honor to play through my games with millions of people out there. And today, I am again privileged for you allowing me to come and talking to you into your homes. Thank you so much. And then hopefully one day I will be visiting soon, because I'm dying to visit Singapore. I love Singapore. I even stayed long times in Singapore. I stayed months sometimes in Singapore. And I love the island. I love the place. I love the food. I love the people. And trust me, many times I say to my family, I wish we lived there, and so on. And I have my routine walk when I actually uh, I'm in Singapore. I do this several kilometer walk. Usually start from my hotel around the Marina Bay and go to the Keys and come back, on the other side of the river. And that gives me a good walk. Usually I do it early in the morning, very early before everybody wakes up, because it's cool, and it is amazing that when you see the beauty of the city, the beauty of the place, and how safe it is and how beautiful it is. So you are all privileged to to live in a country like Singapore, and how lucky we all are, you and I, that you have a government that is responsible and offered us to come, so they will actually bring you the best so you can be educated, and you do not have to leave your country and expatriate yourself in order to go and study in some faraway lands from family and friends. So anyway, I thank you so much. I hope that one day I'll be able to see you in the campus. Uh, I promise my staff that at the earliest opportunity, when we can actually start traveling, my first stop will be Singapore, because I really miss the place quite a bit. And have a nice weekend, and have a nice day, and have a nice continuation of the event. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. If there is any question, Caroline, I would be happy to answer it.
Mm. Okay, thank you, Claude, for the talk. Uh, I think the attendees may not have any questions, so we will proceed to the next segment, which is the Q&A for the faculty panelists.
All right. So I wish you farewell, and I will actually go about my life here. You have a nice day.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Claude.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Thank you,
guys.
Claude.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon, guys. Okay.
Yep, yep.
Take care.
Be safe.
Okay. Next, we would like to proceed to the Q&A section. All attendees can see the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. You can click on the icon and type your questions. Our faculty panel will answer them. For this session, our provost, Mr. Prasada Gadi, will be answering questions about our Bachelor of Science in Computer Science in Real-Time Interactive Simulation and Bachelor of Science in Computer Science in Interactive Media and Game Development programs. Associate Professor Dr. Tang Liang will be answering questions about our Bachelor of Engineering in Mechatronics Systems program. Next, we have our Department Chair of Game Software Design and Production, Mr. Ravunan, to answer questions about the Bachelor of Arts in User Experience and Game Design program. Last but not least, we have our Department Chair of Fine Arts and Animation, Mr. Calvin Tan, to answer questions about the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Digital Art and Animation program. Okay, I would like to refer to the first questions that we have. Is programming knowledge required to apply? I'm interested in design, 3D modeling using tools, but I'm not good in programming and I don't have much experience as well. I'm more into art and design, 3D modeling. So maybe for this question, I would like to direct to Raul.
Hello, thank you for the question. I think I'll look at the main part that you asked. You're very interested in 3D modeling. And if that's your main interest, then Bachelor of Fine Arts would be the program you want to apply to. If you're interested in creating 3D models or environments, I think Calvin can also help with that, right? So
Yes.
yeah. So that's definitely the program you're looking at. Now, if you're looking at in terms of how a 3D model will work inside a game and how we will program it and how we will program the behaviors of the 3D model, then of course you would be looking at some of the computer science programs. So those are very different programs. I also do want to state that our design program, which is the BA UXGD, is not an arts program in the sense that it's not a fine art program. The BFA program and the UXGD programs are very different programs. For the design program, we focus more on user experience, user interface, quest design. We also focus on VR design, technical design, whereas the fine arts and digital arts program will handle more of the 3D modeling, environment art, 2D art. So probably Calvin can also add to that.
Yes, okay. For the first question regarding this programming knowledge required, the answer is actually no, it's not mandatory. But we do have other elective courses that help allow you to pick up a bit of like a basic programming and scripting. All right, that is in the probably in the third and fourth year. Right. So I think there's another question also. But asking is this applicant from NAFA. You're currently studying in animation design and you'll be graduating soon in April. So I think your question is whether or not you can do a credit transfer, and the answer is yes. It depends on the sort of courses they have taken over at NAFA. As for credit transfers, right, we have to evaluate the credit hours as well as the content of the particular course, and then we will decide accordingly from there. So as far as we would like to, if it's encouraged that if you are keen to do for credit transfers, right, you do it during the admissions. Try to inquire during the admissions period. We do not do any articulation whatsoever with any of our degree programs. So if you're thinking of like maybe like, shortening your course of study from 4 years to 3 years, the answer will be no. But again, as I maintain, I like to underscore that we do credit transfers for certain courses from other diploma programs.
Okay, thank you, Calvin. I would like to, another question from Cass. From the open house, it said that we'll be learning through games. Games as an ultimate medium. Can you specify how games will be used in our learning? Raul? I think this question you can answer.
Sure. So we use games as a medium because when you work in games, whether you're a designer, whether you're an engineer, you're an artist, it's a problem-solving medium. To create games, it's one of the ultimate mediums in user experience because someone has to interact with that. Our end goal is not that you just get into the game industry. Our graduates can get into multiple industries, whether it's software development, applications, films, media, games. But why we pick games is because it's a very complex process. So every year you'll have a project class in DigiPen. And especially in your year 2 and year 3, you'll have an option to work with people from different degrees in these project classes. So let's say if you're an RTI student or an IMGD student, you will have to work with BFA students and BA UXGD students together in a project to make probably a game or even an application. And all of you will have very specific roles based on the degrees. This is where you'll also learn soft skills because project development is not just about making an amazingly polished project. It's also about learning how to communicate with each other, especially when you come from different degrees. This is very unique about DigiPen. It's a 5 to 7 credit module. And when you communicate with others, you'll understand probably as an artist, how does a programmer think? What's the programmer's requirements? As a software engineer, like when you get, let's say, a feedback from the designer in terms of the UI, how do you integrate it into your pipeline? So this is a major part of DigiPen learning process. And at the end of the day, when you make this particular game, you'll go through different milestones too in production. You'll go through a proof of concept, you'll go through early prototype, you'll go through alpha, beta, gold. You'll also learn tools like Jira. So ultimately, when you do these projects and go into the industry, no matter which industry you work in, you will feel very comfortable working there. You have full freedom as to who you want to work with. We don't really pick team members for you. We obviously have certain criteria as to how many people can work in a team, and we have certain team compositions. But you will start a professional process right from year 1, where you'll pick team members, you'll pitch to the lecturers what kind of project you want to make, we'll give you feedback. We, in fact, there's another question as to how the lecturers work with students. We essentially work with students on a daily basis. It's not something where we'll give a lecture and we will be off for the rest of the week and then you show your project to us. We'll be there in labs with you. Every lecturer has a specialization. So let's say if you need help from art, people from Calvin's department will be there for you. So it's a very comprehensive process. And at the end of every year, you'll make a specialized project which will help you in your portfolio.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. The next question is, what is the intake number for digital arts animation program? Calvin?
Okay, the numbers, right, basically, right, will fluctuate. So we do not have a fixed number in terms of the quantity of students we allow, allow into the program. This is partially dictated by MOE. So we are waiting for MOE's so-called green light to accept a certain number. But I think one thing you can do, one thing that I can probably share is that currently we have about 40 freshman students. So I think that is probably a more at now. I think that will be more accurate as what do you call that ballpark number that you can sort of use to determine the intake size.
Caroline, can I just comment because I think I accidentally deleted one of the questions which was important. So sorry about that. So there was a question there that someone has heard that the dropout for RTIs is almost 50%, and why is it so high? Actually, that's not factual information. I know you might have read it in some forums, but actually that is not true. In fact, in terms of attrition rate, DigiPen attrition rate has decreased over the years a lot, So when you look at forums, do look at which year you're looking at. Right now, we also have a lot of support mechanisms for students. We have a student body of which takes care of you in year 1 to year 4. We also have a little more of a smooth curve. When you come into year 1, we assume that you know very little, you're just passionate. So what we do is, like Claude said, we handhold you a lot more in year 1, but by year 3, we start letting you go so that you can mature. So when it comes to things like attrition rates, of course, admissions can answer it better, but definitely be aware of which forums you read from. In terms of 50%, that's definitely not true. RTIS is one of our most successful programs, both in terms of intake and also in terms of the careers that RTIS graduates get. Sorry for accidentally deleting that question.
Thank you, Rahul. The next question is from this person called Task. Prof. Comair said that we work through apprenticeship with working with professor. How often will the students be working along professor? So I'd like to pose this question to Prasanna.
Hi, Kaz. You'll be spending a lot of time at DigiPen working on your projects. And we essentially have an open door policy where you can sort of pop in from your classroom and get help. And your game teachers, our instructors are going to work closely with you because they have the background and the experience of making games. And I believe the same is true with the art programs too. All of the teachers there, instructors have had industry experience. So the idea here is that we kind of can quickly kind of guide you so that you don't spin your wheels trying to solve problems that are sort of simple to solve and don't take too much of your time. So we're not there to kind of jump in and sort of uh, hold your hand and take you forward, but we take pride in making sure that we are there to kind of help you. But we still want to encourage the sort of learning where you do have to put in your time and research and so on. I
Thank,
hope that answers your question.
thank you, Prasanna. There's another question for you, which is the difference. A lot of people is wondering what's the difference between the two computer science programs that we have, the real-time interactive simulation as well as the computer science in interactive media and game development program.
So both are computer science. So the way I would think of RTIS is that you're going to go a little bit deeper into computational graphics, more into parallel programming. So in other words, deeper into computer science and how to build big systems. Things like cloud systems, game engines, any sort of visualization software, and so on. The IMGD program, what it does is that think of it as an elective where you're sort of taking the core computer science and working on learning more about designing and prototyping interactive software. So you want to gain some additional perspective on how humans use digital products and services and how that software impacts humans. And so if you're working in, let's say, a company that does autonomous vehicles, then you're more interested in displaying the information because the windshield is pretty useless. That's an autonomous vehicle. So what sort of information can I present? And humans then interact with that information presented on the windscreen. RTIS, you're more interested in building the software that will actually project these images onto the screen and sort of build the low-level systems that allow the driver to interact with that system. So most of the education is exactly the same. So the whole difference is almost a semester's worth of education and learning to become better at presenting the results of computer software and interacting with humans. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Prasanna. There's another question about, is there a possibility to have an exchange program with other DigiPen school or the third and fourth years? The thing is that for DigiPen, we have this thing called Overseas Immersion Program. The Overseas Immersion Program is mandatory for all students coming into DigiPen via SIT, and they will spend one trimester in DigiPen Redmond, which is in Redmond in the state of Washington, for one trimester at the end of their year two. So that is a one trimester of exchange program that is incorporated into the curriculum. So I hope that answers your questions. The next question is one for our Dr. Tang Liang. There's a degree called Robotic Systems in SIT. They want to know what is the difference between robotic systems and our mechatronics system. So Tang Liang?
Okay, so here both these two programs, they are similar. At first we think they're similar, but there are quite a lot differences. So the robotics program focuses on the robotics, this field. It's more specialized in this field. However, the mechatronics system is broader. Let's say give students a broader education, which includes the mechatronics, this kind of field knowledge, and system engineering. So in terms of career opportunities, so students from the robotics program, they can get the job in the robotics this field, but the students from the mechatronics systems, they can get a job, let's say, from the robotics field. They also can, but they also can get, let's say, job, let's say, from the logistic industry, let's say, because we need to use quite a lot of autonomous vehicles, autonomous driving there. And we also can get a job, let's say, from public transportation industry, because there, let's say, we need someone to integrate many big subsystems. We also let the students can work in the, let's say, the precision industries, because the students can design some very advanced mechatronics systems for that. So this is in the study field. And there's another important difference is mechatronics system is the joint program between SIT and the DigiPen. However, robotics is purely SIT program. So it means here in the mechatronics systems, you can get education from DigiPen. And you know, DigiPen, let's say, we already established here, let's say, for the established more than 30 years. And we have quite a lot of experience teaching students how to convert, let's say, your knowledge to your ability. Because right now, let's say, you get the knowledge. Sometimes, let's say, maybe it's easy, but how can convert this kind of knowledge to ability? Let's say here, let's say, we have quite a lot of experience on this. There's another difference is since this mechatronics system is a joint program with DigiPen, and we have overseas immersion program, and Karan just mentioned this, and which gives you a good opportunity to build the friendship with your peers in American academic and American industry. So I think this is good for you guys. I think these are some differences here.
Thank you, Tang Liang. Another question is for the art portfolio. What is considered one piece of portfolio? Is it a whole project, one portfolio, or one piece of art is one portfolio? Kelvin, would you like to take on this question?
Oh, okay, thank you. That's a very good question. So essentially what we are looking for is drawing skills and design sensibilities in the portfolio. So actually, although it's stipulated we are looking at between 15 to 20 pieces of works, but we do encourage applicants to submit more, in a sense that it gives us a much better idea in terms of to determine what are your artistic skills are like, as well as the depth of your passion and desire. So I wouldn't be too concerned in terms of putting one piece. It depends on how much you can share. So as I said, really, if you can share as much as possible, share as much as possible.
I have another question over here. It says he's the year 3 students currently studying diploma in animation at Nanyang Polytechnic, and he's interested in BFA, or she's interested in BFA in digital arts and animations. Biggest concern is that the modules provided at DigiPen might be too similar for the modules this person is currently doing. Is this a suitable degree for someone like this, for him or her? Kelvin, would you like to take on this question?
Well, I think it's a very good question. Yes, I do agree that some of the courses that you've taken at the polytechnic level, they do appear similar. And if you ask me, maybe some of them may even be identical. So the question is whether or not you want to take it to a different level. So it's like, the good answer is that if you're dealing with skills, it's if you want to get better, it's about repetition and practice. So some of the students, they understand this very well. They know that they have done something similar or even identical at the poly level. However, they feel that they still need to continue to refine and sharpen their skill sets. So that's why they enroll into our program. So again, it depends on what you really want. It's like going to the gym. One doesn't go in for a week and then work on the equipment, hoping to get muscles the next week. It's a process, all right, whereby you have to keep practicing until you get better. So what we do essentially is like we most of our exercises are essentially all focused on practice, such that you get stronger and much better. So it depends on what you like. If you want something new, then you probably want to look for a different program. But if you have, basically, if you feel that you are good and you want to get better, so the question is that do you want to get better at what you're currently good at? And I would say that yes, our program may be more suited for you, right? It depends. It's more rigorous as well. So in a sense that, or you may be covering the same things, but we'll be covering in greater depth as well. So like drawing and 3D modeling, lighting, as well as not to mention some of the new updates that also has happened in terms of the technology. So we will also be dealing with that in the course of your study here with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Calvin. There's another question from this person, Sasha, asking what's the difference between interactive media and game development and user experience and game design. So basically she's asking what's the difference between these two game design or game development degree. Rahul, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, sure. So both are fundamentally very different degrees. If you're looking at IMGD, think of it as a software engineering degree for people who also want to learn about human-computer interface. They also want to learn a little bit of design theory. They also want to learn about things like, let's say, basic user experience design, but the bigger chunk of the program will be based on your coding languages such as C, such as C++, you know, so you're training to still be a software engineer, but with a good experience in terms of design. Maybe about 15 to 20% of your program will be design focused. For the BA UX GD program, though, it is quite the opposite. Think of it as designers who can code in C#. So for the BA UX GD program, you're essentially looking at a design program, which is going to be heavily weighed on user experience design, on game design, level design, now future media design, such as virtual reality, virtual production, augmented reality design. So you need to have some level of visual sense. You also need to learn how to code using C# so that you can show your prototypes to your fellow team members. So one is extremely heavy on design with a touch of programming inside of it, and the other is very heavy on your programming languages with a touch of design in it, to put it very simply.
Okay, thank you, Rahul. I would like to proceed to the next questions from this Han Lin. Hi, I'm an A-level graduate. Earlier, Professor Comair mentioned that the students can visit the school to gain first-hand experience. Would it be possible this year? Okay, I would like to answer this question. At this moment, unfortunately, we do not allow any visitors to the school yet, but we are monitoring the situation. So once the situation is better, we do encourage students to visit the school. We do have this thing called student shadow programs. So please check our website. And once we are able to open up the student shadows program, we will post this on our website, and we do encourage students to sign up for the student shadows program. His next question is that I'm interested in computer science in interactive media and game development. How can I be sure that this course is for me? So for computer science, interactive media, and game development, Prasanna, would you like to share what would like to answer this, please?
What was the question again?
I'm interested in computer science in interactive media and game development. How can I be sure that this course is for me?
So the idea is, how do I choose between RTIS and IMGD?
I think he wants to know about more about the computer science, interactive media, and game development.
Okay, it's a computer science degree. So the first thing I want everybody to know is that we don't expect people to know programming. So a lot of our students are interested in computer science, and they don't necessarily have computing background, whether in poly or A levels or anywhere else. So we assume that people have no clue about programming, and so we begin the very first year from that perspective. Now, the first thing that this person needs to decide is, are you interested in computer science? Are you interested in writing, learning about computer science theory, mathematics, and software engineering. All right, if that's kind of something that is of interest to you, then RTIS and IMGD, not such a big difference. In both cases, obviously theory is a very important part. Mathematics is going to be very important, and software engineering is going to be very important. But the only difference with the 2 degrees is that in RTIS, okay, you are getting sort of deeper into computer science, while with the IMGD, you're pausing your computer science intake by a course for a few semesters, and instead you're gaining skills in how do you design and prototype interactive software for a variety of different environments. There's the handheld, there's mobile, there's VR, AR, there's wearable. So that is the sort of focus that you are trying to gain. A perspective on how do digital software on new media, how do they affect users, how do they consume them, and what is the better way to interact with them, and so on. While the RTIS, you're saying, okay, I have this new thing, new device, whatever, the cloud, faster processors from NVIDIA, Intel, or whoever. How can I make software run more efficiently? What is parallel computing? What is core programming? And so you're taking further steps into learning more about current trends in computing and computer hardware, and how to apply interactive software on such devices. The other one, IMGD, again, is more on interacting, understanding how humans use your software. But in both cases, they are completely computer science with a lot of math.
Thank you, Prasanna. The next question is the Mechatronics System Program accredited? So, Tang Liang.
Okay, so in short, let's say the answer is yes. But the detail is, so from this year, this program has been renamed to the Mechatronics Systems. Previously, the name is called SIMS, System Engineering on Electromechanical Systems. So SIMS, we got the accreditation from EAB. However, so this accreditation is not a full accreditation, because for a full accreditation, we have certain procedures. One important procedure is we need to get the feedback from our graduates in project. Right at this moment, we only have 2 graduation cohorts. So for the full accreditation, we need 3 to 5 cohorts of the graduation. So we still need to wait. Let's say we're still in the process to get the full accreditation. But right now we already get the preliminary accreditation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Tang Liang. Okay, I have another question from William. I'm having trouble choosing between user experience and game design and the BS and Bachelor of Engineering programs. I'm interested in computer science. What is the difference between the two? So I think the question is, what's the difference between the computer science and also the user experience game design program? Rahul, you want to take this question?
Yeah, so I mean, I think let me just take the last part here. You said you're interested in computer science, right? So if that's the case, then definitely, user experience and game design is not a computer science program. It is a heavy design-based program. Like what I said previously, it is based on user experience, user interface. It's based on VR design, future media design, such as virtual production, game design, of course, too. But it is not a computer science program. So that's something to be aware of. If we are looking at Bachelor of Science, like Prasanna said, there are 2 degrees there. With regards to what we are speaking about. One is the RTIS program and the other is the IMGD program, which is interactive media and game development. If you're looking at interactive media and game development, that definitely is a computer science program where you learn a little bit of design with respect to human computer interface interactions. You learn a little bit about game design too, but largely you will be learning about software engineering. You'll be learning about programming languages like C, C++, and your role in your project classes will be that of a software engineer who is or is aware of design fundamentals at least, So that would be the big difference. So again, if you're really interested in computer science, then user experience and game design is not the program for you. You have to pick between our RTIS program or the IMGT program.
Okay, thank you. There's another question about the intake number for Mechatronics system. Also, what kind of related background do I need to apply for the program? So, Tang Liang.
Okay, so for the intake number for Mechatronics system, so the number is around 60 or sometimes 50 plus. Yes, and for the background, so of course, if you already have the experience, let's say, or the background from the mechatronics, or you have experience from the electronics, mechanical or programming, you have some advantages during study. However, if you don't have any this kind of engineering background, you still can, let's say, because we teach from scratch. We prepared the curriculum. Let's say we suppose, let's say, for our students, you don't have this kind of engineering background. As long as you are graduates of poly, or you have A-level diploma, or you passed some IB curriculum or other overseas diploma, which is the equivalent to A-level, that's okay.
Okay, thank you, Tang Liang. The next question is for the digital arts animation, so Jessica. So Calvin, for digital arts animation, what do you look for in a candidate during the interview, and what is the good way to prepare for this?
Okay, the main thing is that you're going to this line of work. Firstly, is that we want to see if the student, in the pursuit of arts, when he or she creates art, will he or she, does he or she have joy creating the work? Right, because at the end of the day, right, we do not want the students to go through the course, right, and then suffer along the way. We want to make sure that in the face of difficulty, right, they'll be able to have what they call a positive mindset to approach these challenges. So in the candidate, what we're looking for essentially is not just the drawing skills, but as well the depth of desire for the individual. So the thing is that for the interview, just be honest in terms of what you hope to achieve, right? If you want to come into this particular program. And I would say that talk a bit more in terms about your aspirations, in terms of what this program can allow you to accomplish, rather than trying to, please us with a politically correct answer. Yep.
Okay,
so I hope that, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Calvin. I would like to request all the attendees to post your questions if you can. As many as you can, please keep the question coming in. The next question is that where can a DigiPen computer science graduates work at, and do they work at the game companies only? So Prasanna?
No, I think I was just typing somewhere in the question and answer. We use games as a means to an end. So the thing is that everything interesting in computer science, interesting in applied math shows up in games, almost every single topic. So the school is designed to teach these topics and get students exposure, not just to the theory, but actually to how one can apply this theory. And games are the most useful way to do this, simply because everybody is excited about games. I'm talking about not only students, but including teachers and so on and so forth. So that is what Claude was talking about, how we teach these sort of difficult things, and then at the end of the degree program, you don't just graduate with the theory and then, generally speaking, you forget all the theory from the first few years, but actually you kind of have this experience of 4 years worth of working as a software engineer. And that is going to be something that you don't forget, because you're applying the theory, not only stuff that you learned previously, but stuff you're learning the current semester. And how are you doing that? Well, by making a game in a separate software engineering project class. And what are the other advantages? Well, it teaches everybody lots of soft skills, that we don't then need to sort of dedicate additional courses. So we can then teach you more computer science and more math. And what sort of soft skills? Well, everything from communication, handling, team building, team management, documentation, learning not only verbally, but also all the modern tools that people use in the current environment where people could be distributed across different parts of the world and still are managing to work together using a variety of different tools that are very specialized for the software development industry. So in a nutshell, it allows students to gain experience even as they're studying, right? And understand and get motivated about the theory, while if you just do the theory, then you just sort of think of it from the exam or grade perspective. You learn, and then you're learning all the other stuff, and then some stuff has to go away from your brain. So when you graduate, you don't quite know uh, how to put into practice all the things that you have learned. And so we pick video games as a way to motivate students to not only learn, but also how to apply what you've learned.
Okay, thank you, Prasanna. I have the next questions. If I were to apply to multiple programs at Japan, would this be in a ranked systems? Will each application be considered separately? Might I be interviewed separately? So let me just answer those questions. You need to apply through SIT portal. Inside SIT portal, there are 5 choices. You have to rank them, and then you will be invited. If you are eligible, the SIT will send you an invitation to do an interview. It will be an online Kira interview. You have to do a video interview. You may not need to do each Kira interview for each choice. This is not necessary. So I would like to repeat, all you need to do is to apply to SIT portal, and there are 5 choices. Please list down your preferred DigiPen choices accordingly. And then if you are eligible, you will get an email from SIT to do online video interviews. Okay. The next question is basically for Rahul. With regards to Mr. Rahul's answer in my previous question, I have interest in math, but how do I actually show that my friends in Mechatronics system has to take an English module? Will I also have to take it?
I think these are it's a bit two different questions, right? So I think for the main one, I'll go back to Prasanna. But in terms of the English module, the thing is that all our degrees, you have English electives, which may be in storytelling, which may be in graphic novels, which may be in social sciences. So that's something that different people in different degrees do have to take, okay, because it's a part of the communication skills also. And it also gives you some diversity at some point of your program. With respect to how do you show interest in math, maybe Prasanna is a better person to answer that.
Yeah, so what was the initial part of it? I'm sorry.
So,
flicking away.
So the question, Prasanna, the question is that if the person comes in for an interview, especially for RTIS or IMGD programs, how would he or she be able to show an interest in math, without actually, how do we speak about it?
Oh, if that, I mean, we look at the entire schooling of that particular candidate. So if I am looking at this person's background, then I'll look at O level, right? I'll look at the poly or A level. What sort of internship have they done? So somebody, for example, has done computer science or computer engineering or something technical, and then they end up for some reason interning at a non-technical company or doing non-technical work. What are the grades like in O level? You didn't do too well, but then there is the steady uptick over a period of time in how you do. So all these are, I think, things that I think everybody else takes into account, right? Not per se one thing, because there is no way to measure a person other than by putting in as much as we can, right? And then I think in the admission process, there's an avenue for the student to write as much as they can about what their interests are and how the school can help achieve their dreams. And then there's also video interactions. So that would be the best place in terms of if somebody explaining why they feel they are suited for this particular degree, because all the other stuff is sort of static, right? I can only see grades, but how a person speaks, why they want to talk about a particular thing that they feel is important. All of these, I think, sort of are things that people can do when they apply. Things that are in their control, right? Grades are done, over. But you could be really, really passionate and well prepared to get into the degree, even though your grades may not be the best. So you need to kind of practice, right? So just don't go into make a tape or a video and post it because you want to spend some time review. Are you able to speak properly, coherently? Are you able to describe your passion and your interest in computer science or whatever else you want to do well, so that people kind of are encouraged in taking the right decision, which would be giving you admission, right? Yeah.
Thank you, Prasanna. I would like to encourage all attendees to post their questions soon. We are taking the last few questions, so attendees, please kindly post your questions. The next question is, in BFA, what are the companies that we can intern at? Calvin?
Okay, apart from game companies, we do have students also doing their interns at AR and VR companies. So anywhere that their skill sets are applicable. So we also have graduates sort of making the transition from game companies to even engineering companies doing CAD drawings and all this that help in the design process of even like engineering parts and product design as well. So it's again, we do encourage, so long as it allows the student to practice their skill sets, work in a team, work collaboratively with others. I think that is where we'll sort of encourage our students to seek their internships.
Okay, thank you. Can I just ask the attendees, is there any other questions? Okay, I would like to proceed to the next part, which is okay, we have come to the end. Oh, just to help Mint, there other than SIT scholarship, do game companies give out scholarships? Okay, let me answer this question live. For game currently, right, there's over 300 scholarships and financial aids with SIT. So we do encourage all applicants to apply for SITs. There's a list of scholarship in SIT website, which is eligible for all DigiPen SIT students to apply. As of now, we know that there is one company which is called Ubisoft. They have a scholarship with IMDA, but you have to go to IMDA website to check it out. At this moment, we do not know whether there's any more update scholarships, but we do encourage the applicants to look into the SIT under the scholarship website to check. Okay. Okay. For the questions, if they want to have any other questions or to learn more about the curriculum, what will be the best avenue to do it? We welcome and we totally encourage, or we strongly encourage all applicants to check out our website. Our website has information about the curriculum, as well as our programs, as well as the course sequence. Nevertheless, we also welcome all the attendees to send us an email. I will share the email later on the slide. And then if you have any further questions, please feel free to approach us, and then we will definitely answer the questions promptly. So we have come to the end of this event. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. Do kindly note that the admissions for our undergraduate programs is now open, and the deadline for application is now on 19 March. We also welcome you to scan the QR code here to get a copy of our interactive viewbook. Same thing, inside we'll have all our course sequence applications, applications process, also the steps to apply, and as well as information about DigiPen. Okay, I can show the previous screen, and then this will be the next screen. All the information is also available on our website. Okay. So for more questions, please feel free to send us an email to admissions.sg@digipen.edu. Once again, thank you very much for attending this event. Thank you so much. And then this event will be recorded and will be posted on our website in March. So, but again, if you have any more questions, please feel free to send us an email via admissions.sg@digipen.edu. So thank you and welcome and have a great weekend. Thank you very much.